Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Tech Frenzy market close. Holy, what a mouthful. But we have to talk about SoFi here. I mean, come on. Not excluding just an intraday real big bump that ended up happening many years ago. If you take a look at this chart, this is really what you should be seeing as a SoFi investor. Now, whenever we IPO'd or SPAC'd onto the market to today, you're up 151%. There were some pretty incredible spikes. And in fact, during this period, it actually got up to $28.26 intraday. Okay, so we still have not reached those levels, but boy, oh boy, we are looking like we're about to close at quite a high level. $27.71. Ladies and gentlemen, give yourselves a round of applause. This is so freaking exciting. So, wow. We're going to continue to monitor this, watch this company into the close. We've got about 14 minutes left to see where it closes. This is going to be an all-time high close regardless. As long as it closes above 27, which, I mean, we've got a long way to go for it to fall out of that range. I don't think that's going to happen. Boy, oh boy, that will be very exciting, up 4.4%. Google as well, going to close above $3 trillion market cap, making it the fourth company to reach that milestone at $251. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, the people who had bought this company during these dips, give yourself a round of applause as well. I mean, this was not an easy one to buy the dip on. We have real competitors in Google now. You know, OpenAI is probably one of the fastest companies to ever come out of the woodwork and give real competition to the search giant that is Google. Okay, that's real. However, it doesn't take away from the fact that Google has such an immediate advantage whenever it comes to the ability to distribute its artificial intelligence products, for it to be able to save on cost to serve because it owns its own, not only data centers, but also its own custom silicon through Google's tensor processing units, TPUs. So Google has quite the advantage on cost savings, on distribution, on data advantages for actually learning to improve those AI models. It's quite the advantage. So the banana model is insane for my company. Yeah, Nano banana is a real thing. I mean, come on now. It's very interesting. And that's not just a Google specific thing. That's an industry-wide thing. That's why I continue to bet on companies like Nvidia, for example. I think they're about to close red today, but not by much, 0.3%. But still, this is why I continue to make massive bets on companies like Nvidia, is because the models in general continue to improve, increasing their use cases and allowing for those artificial intelligence businesses to charge more if they can solve more problems. If you can solve problems, you can charge. If you solve rich people problems, you can solve even more, or you can charge even more. Okay? So NVIDIA is one that I continue to be very bullish on. Rubrik, some of the cloud security names also doing very well today. Palo Alto also up 2%. Block is up 2.3%. Lightspeed up 2.4%. Uber up 2.7%. That actually makes me want to look at Tesla up 3.3%. Let's go to the actual day, though. And you can see the massive spike. Let me just click away and then click back. That we ended up seeing in the pre-market as people realized that Elon Musk purchased nearly $1 billion of Tesla stock on September 12th. Okay, so we ended up seeing quite the run-up earlier on September 12th, and people said, wow, you know, the demand for Tesla is insane, not realizing that one of the largest purchasers was its own not founder, but CEO, quasi-founder, ended up getting into the business extremely early. So I would consider him sort of a quasi-founder of Tesla. Anyway, we'll see how that pans out. There's sort of two schools of thought. One, he's either purchasing his way into his own, pricing, so then he can get some of his tranches for the 2038 performance-based stock units. Or if you actually do think the company is going to 8.5 trillion, this is a very cheap price to pay of only, 1 trillion or 1.3 trillion. You're essentially looking at yourself, buying a close to 8x business. So even the richest man in the world can benefit from that, right? I'll let people decide on where that falls. I've made my opinions recently that if there's fundamental changes in the business, then I'm very, very happy to be a part of the Tesla, movement. And I'm fully aware that you want to be a shareholder before those things move than after. I just have not seen a realistic idea of how much demand for robotaxi that there really is going to be. Is it a multi-$100 billion industry? Is it, and if it is it 100 billion, or is it, 900 billion like ARK has to say? And those are two very different assumptions. So I want to know how that plays into it. Obviously, the gross margins are going to be insane. The network effects, like that's going to be great. But I wouldn't I'm not too quick to judge how fast Uber is going to lose their market. They already have like 200 million users. We'll see how it all plays out over time. But Reddit up nearly 4%. This is an absolute giant, continuing to climb up. They're going to do very well in Q3. Everything's pointing to it. But SoFi, ladies and gentlemen, holy 27.34. You're going to need to see a massive sell-off for this not to be their highest close we've ever seen. I think what this is we've seen a lot of people, and by the way, I would not sell for my own portfolio, by the way. But what I see here in SoFi is there were a couple people asking before, hey, are rate cuts priced into SoFi? And this is your answer. No, they're not. Okay. And if there is, maybe this is 1 or 2 rate cuts between September to November. But does it really price in 3 rate cuts for the rest of the year? Now, that's what I actually do believe needs to happen. But is that priced into the stock? If we do get 1 or 2 rate cuts during this, on Wednesday, I mean, SoFi is going to be a very happy camper. And not only do we need to see that on Wednesday, but you're going to see institutional demand start to pick up on purchasing loans from SoFi before that even happens, because they want to front run those sales as well. If they think rates are going to come out, which is right now, according to FedWatch, that this is at essentially 100% guarantee of a rate cut with about, I think last time I checked, it was 6%. Now it's 4% chance of 2 rate cuts. So CME Group places this at 4% chance of a 50 basis point cut. Regardless, 0 chance of no change, 100% chance of an ease. If institutions are trying to front run that, SoFi's phone is probably ringing off the hook. Every single institution's going, hey, can we get some of your paper? Like, we want those loans. So then whenever rate cuts do come out, then we have the flexibility to sell it to someone else that was too slow and that we actually have better pricing on SoFi's loans. Okay. I mean, loans can be sold in secondary markets. There's opportunities for people to arbitrage SoFi's loans. But I'm here wanting to own the company that is actually underwriting it, owning the entire business, selling to the first consumer that's coming to their to the table, and then they can go out and continue to write more. Yeah, forget 52-week high. These are 4-year highs. And if you're talking close to this, these are not 52-week closes or 4-year closes. These are all-time high closes. The highest close that we saw was on Friday, which was 26.55. That was the highest close we've ever seen for SoFi. So now it would need to drop $1.10 in order to it just to be where our all-time high was on close as well. If you took the course and believe the dream. Yeah. I mean, hey, that's why I said I was, we can talk about the companies that have worked, but what would really be great is to talk about a company that hasn't worked yet and then watch it work. And I'm pretty sure whenever I actually put out that report, SoFi was at $6. So now at 27.60, it's worked out decently. And we saw a bunch of naysayers that continued to say that this will not outperform the S&P 500. This is opportunity cost. And now we're sitting on a multi-bagger for most of you in here, sitting on multi-baggers. Maybe you had options on this company. Essentially, whenever I went to the Hood Summit, which I would love for SoFi to have a product summit. I mean, that would be quite exciting. But even without one, okay, SoFi essentially came out and said, hey, sorry, a bunch of people came up to me during the Hood Summit and said, hey, I've made a freaking fortune on SoFi. Thank you, blah, 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 which you guys give me way too much credit. I didn't pull the trigger. I didn't tell you to hold during extremely hard times. It's easy for my name to get discredited and everything whenever a stock continues to hold lower. So the people who stuck around and listen to your own gut feeling and everything, like, for real, give yourselves a pat on the back, because this is like 100% your win. Okay. That's real money that changes the lives of yourself, your partner, your children. I mean, the decisions here are not a game, right? These are real consequences, making life-changing money. It's unbelievable. So it's a very powerful game, the stock market, but it's also the most popular in the world. And it allows for, a lot of activity, a lot of different trading styles. That's what creates a market. It's what allows you to hit the sell button and someone actually picks up your shares and vice versa. So imagine trying to buy a company at a price that you want to purchase it at and just can't get any any shares because everyone is bullish on a name. I mean, yeah, that's essentially anyone that's trying to buy SoFi at a lower price than $27 today. Like, the orders are not even being fulfilled because people are saying it's worth much more. Average price of $9. What are your guys' averages on SoFi? Do you hold SoFi? What are the averages? SoFi the past 4 years, watching Tanner get older. Yeah, I mean, the earlier videos are rough. The earlier videos are super rough. And we've had to sit through, long periods of time where we're not seeing capital appreciation the entire time. 730, 8,000 shares at 690, 730, 9, 830, 566. Greg, that's crazy. 938, 23, 811, 1245. Yeah. I mean, my average has continued to climb as I've purchased more in the $23 and $24 ranges. So the average continues to climb. Thoughts on D-Local? I mean, so interesting you say that, B. I made an entire video breaking down my thoughts on D-Local just yesterday. Okay. So very bullish on D-Local at first look. I purchased a bunch today to start my position. We'll see how, as we get more information, how that changes. I mean, who knows? I could change my mind on the stock if I learn new information, but so far, so good. So I did an entire video yesterday. I won't bore you guys with my thoughts on D-Local. Also, sorry to anyone that wants to watch that video. I say Duolingo like 100 times. I'm holding my shares for the premium from covered calls for life, no brainer. Nice. Anthony Walker is a long time viewer of the channel. I remember that name from a long time ago. I bought D-Local today at $14.50 though. We'll hold for the long term. Oh, well. Well, I mean, it was literally like if we go to D-Local here, by the way, SoFi closed at 2767. That's its closing price. That's an all-time high now. All-time high close. The market closed. Google, unbelievably high close. $251. I'd have to check, but I'm sure that's an all-time high close as well. Yeah, I mean, yeah, so clearly. But all-time high close on Google as well. Open Door closed another amazing day. Wow. $9.49, nearly $9.50 here. Pagaya up a ton. I mean, they're going to benefit greatly on rate cuts. Upstart's going to benefit greatly on rate cuts. And so people are getting pretty bullish on these types of names. Upstart 66.98. Yeah, Circle up 7%. Wow. That's incredible. That's incredible. They're going to get, continuously seeing bigger and bigger deals with large payment companies. Just recently seeing MasterCard signing up to work with Circle for cross-border payments. Affirm, another, benefactor selling loans, up 7%. Lemonade, nearly up 8%. Peloton, up 8%. That's quite interesting. Oklo, up 15.7%. Wow. If you were to have purchased this over the last year, you're up 1,400%. 1,400 in the last year. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. Novix up 12%, Lyft up 9.7%. A lot of energy names are up greatly. Iren up 9%, up 5x in the last year. That's just incredible. Congratulations to retail investors that have sort of, been betting pretty heavily on these names going forward. That's just incredible. Okay. Wow. Let's see. Tesla's close 410. I mean, it's crazy how volatile this name is. This is a $1 trillion+ business in pre-market above 430, and then all the way down to 400 at one point, closing at 410 to end the day. No real significant news other than the CEO is purchasing more of the stock. 2.5 million shares from Elon Musk, which I'm not going to sit here and tell you that that's not, bullish. That is very bullish. Even if you're the richest man in the world, to throw, or one of them, to throw $1 billion at a company that you already own a massive share of and have performance-based stock units that would make you a trillionaire. I mean, you got to be pretty excited regardless. But yeah. Let's see here. D-Local ended up closing today at $14.18. This is my newest purchase. So we just became a shareholder today. That's quite interesting. Up 3%. Shopify up 3.15%, nearly $150 per share. That's done quite well over the last little bit. I mean, just incredible. Earnings really made it skyrocket on quite the beat. Free cash flow machine. One of the largest positions that I have in my portfolio. Actually bigger than SoFi, which might be new for some people to hear that, but it's true. ServiceNow up 2%, Snowflake up 2%. But let's head back to the great and powerful SoFi. 3 months, you're up 93%. That is so incredible. And if we were to look back on 1 year ago, this is the opportunity cost of investing in SoFi. You're up nearly 258%, which is just incredible. Now, I wanted to jump into some news with you guys while we have this earlier stream, because some things have been happening today that I think are quite interesting to follow. Tell me if you guys like this. I want your opinion on Amazon. Amazon to launch augmented reality football coverage. So using some of the VR headsets and everything, you'll be able to watch the games that people know and love while getting real-time information, like on a HUD, to show you the players that are on the screen, where they're all located, where they shot the ball, the speed of the ball, all the information that they already collect, but being viewed in a little bit more of an interactive way. How crazy is that? I think I want to see what this actually looks like. I'd be excited to see that in real time. But that said, speaking of the one red company, well, I mean, they're not the only red company today, but the biggest company in the world that was red today. Dan Ives actually came out and said Nvidia stock is going to $5 trillion. I mean, that's not even that bold of a statement. We're like right there. But at like 4.3 trillion, you're saying it's going to add another 700 billion. But still, I mean, 700 billion, it's nothing to scoff at. Those are, some of the world's biggest businesses attached to Nvidia just for the sake of it selling the chips that it's already selling. But I probably think it should be there today already. Anyway, Dan Ives pushing that into existence. If his past performance is anything like what we're going to see into the future, that's going to happen. That's already priced in at this point. And maybe, just maybe, this has something to do along the lines of more macro deals that are being signed from the U.S. government. The U.S. and the United Kingdom are set to sign a groundbreaking tech agreement during U.S. President's state visit to Britain next week, according to Bloomberg. Now, I think it's hard to say tech without saying artificial intelligence. And for a company that owns 75% of all the chips that are actually, producing the tokens that allow for artificial intelligence to do what it does so well, you can't say that without including Nvidia. So the more large deals like this, the better it is for Nvidia. Now, tell me this: if the models are getting a little bit smarter, you guys tell me out of these ones, which one is ice cream and which one is a golden retriever? I thought that this was a little interesting of a thing to show these images to what I assume is like GPT-5, and it got it right. Top row, ice cream dog. That's actually a little curled up golden retriever. I wish I could make it a little bit bigger for you guys. Ice cream dog, and then dog, ice cream dog. The last one's a little hard. You don't see the snout or anything. He's looking away from you. But these models, in terms of being able to identify an object and label it, very interesting. Those are sort of the things that are needed, especially in physical AI for things like self-driving, robotics, stuff like this. You want them to be able to scan something and identify what it is. If they can separate vanilla ice cream from golden retrievers, I mean, it sounds silly, but it's pretty good. It's pretty freaking good. So long AI, continuing to be very bullish there, but I like these types of reports that come out showing, just how bullish people can, or just how bullish they can be. Okay. Speaking of SoFi, just closing out another all-time high close, not all-time high price, just in general in terms of intraday, but all-time high close. Vadim puts together great job reports. Okay. So this is the job reports that SoFi ends up putting out in their careers page for new jobs that they're looking for in last week. So he ended up posting this on Saturday. Take a look at this. So first off, tons of new jobs. We usually do not get this. They've been really ramping up in the amount that they're hiring. We see a ServiceNow admin, which I think highlights using quite interesting tech rather than we actually just saw last week that Salesforce has started to use SoFi at work, but that can't be said in the other direction. So quite interesting. SoFi is a user of ServiceNow, but Salesforce is a user of SoFi at work. More crypto jobs, even though we haven't seen that. More loan servicing platform jobs. The green ones are new jobs that have been added. The gray ones are ones that are still open positions that were exactly the same from last week. Okay. So the blue or the green ones are new. More credit card jobs, crypto. It's the crypto ones that I love seeing. More cryptocurrency, anti money laundering compliance specialists, business operations for crypto. They've been really, full steam ahead for cryptocurrency. Jobs that they ended up filling, okay, lots of mortgage loans, okay, tons of bank analysts and different jobs here, but these are the ones that they ended up fulfilling. Crypto engineers, stuff like this. And then for Galileo, this is the only thing I'll say about Galileo. I have not seen a US job for Galileo in a real while. It's been like a long time. All the jobs that they're either asking for or fulfilling are all for LATAM. I don't know if that's the greatest sign. Obviously, they see some great opportunity there, but I would love to see that they can still do well in the US. The jobs are not pointing to it. Who knows? And then what you can see here is that there were actually jobs looking for Asia and Europe. Asia, he's highlighting SoFi Hong Kong, which is another piece of the SoFi puzzle. And then Europe, there has actually been some talk about Galileo going to Europe. The Bank of Scotland, I think, had some reports in it that ended up saying they use Galileo Technologies, LLC. So we'll see there. We will see if they continue to expand globally. I wouldn't count out Galileo as being part of the picture of SoFi. Who knows? Okay. I just ended up posting a tweet earlier about Robinhood, which they just posted this chart showing that Robinhood retirement assets under custody continues to grow at such an unbelievable rate. September's not over. Q3 is not over. This is to September 15th. Okay. And they've essentially shown off that they've grown more than 100% year over year. Again, on retirements. Now, I highlighted in this post that this is not just, day traders that are having fun with the market. This is long-term sticky users if you're using a retirement account. And whenever markets get rough or are in a little bit of a downtrend, people usually don't have, fast twitch muscles to go and sell their entire retirement portfolio. They usually keep that and worry about their other products that might be in a sort of shorter term, like trading portfolio. But it's just funny how some people can be so skeptical as to just say, this is all priced in. Everything around Hood, it's already priced in. It's not going any higher, yada, 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 even though they continue to break new all-time highs. Because the thing is that people still believe that Robinhood can get more users. Their average, value per customer or assets under custody, I still think is under 10,000. I think it's like $9,700 per customer. And then you look at the larger brokerages and they have like $300,000+ per user. Where are those users going to go if Hood continues to put out better products and, not cash back, but essentially offer it at such low pricing that people are keeping more of their own dollars and paying less to the brokerages? What happens during those moments? Right? SoFi to 38 end of year. I mean, hopefully SoFi starts putting out the products like I see you guys talking about crypto. I want to see crypto soon. Level 1 options said Q3 or Q4. I was hoping to see something in Q3, I think that obviously their ability to bring on new users and keep those users sticky to Robinhood's platform is unlike any other business. You know, Robinhood is not even attracting as many users as SoFi can. But I would like them to put out more products much faster. I think that attracts an even better or more active user base. I want to see that. However, if you go to SoFi.com, I was just checking this out earlier. Let's see here. They're showing off that they're going to offer you even more if you sign up for a SoFi Active Invest account, meaning you're picking your own stocks, you're doing your own thing, and you fund it with at least $50. You will receive a minimum $15 for signing up and up to $3,000, depending on some rates. And they'll show you the rates of getting the different rewards. But still, they're willing to pay a lot for people to come over to SoFi Invest. The truth is right now, if I were to choose, if I were to go to SoFi, Robinhood, whatever, for Invest, I would pick Robinhood. They have more options, allows me to be more flexible around my, investment strategy. For banking and everything, I would pick SoFi. For any loan, anything along those lines, I would pick SoFi. But I would like for SoFi to close that gap, and they need to move much quicker in order to put out the products that people want to see that keep them at SoFi, not even attract people to or from Robinhood over to SoFi, just keeping the users on their platform. That's, I think, just what we need to see, and level one option is going to be a big part of that. Speaking of which, let's talk about a product that SoFi had gotten to first, at least to some degree, and Robinhood is catching up on. Robinhood Ventures. So Robinhood's going to launch its own ETF to show off a bunch of public companies. This is going to be a closed-end fund, which means that they're just going to acquire a certain amount of private shares, and then people can bid up what the prices of that fund is based on buying it from someone else who owns those shares. Okay? But now, unlike what SoFi does, which SoFi has been offering private equity for some time, this is going to be owned and operated by Robinhood. SoFi is going the referral route and letting, Cashmere or ARK or Franklin Templeton or any of those funds to own their, they can own the ETFs. We'll get fee for service by putting it on our platform and people clicking the buy button. Kendall says, should I sell my 9,000 shares? Exactly. $11.17 share cost basis of SoFi before the Fed meeting. I don't think so. So Kendall, you do you. I'm not a financial advisor anymore. Definitely not your financial advisor. I think that there's going to be more rate cuts. What do you do whenever rate cuts are much, much lower from today, and the opportunity is either keep rates low or increase rates as things get worse, or as things get potentially better or even too hot? You could potentially see that, and then SoFi is not going to. They're going to suffer from the same thing that's making the stock so attractive today, right? They are a capital-intensive business, so rate cuts are super important to their business. But if we ever see rate hikes, that's going to decimate the company as well. Hopefully they can pivot. I mean, we went through the fastest rate hike cycle in history, and SoFi still was able to grow revenue at great rates. In fact, I wanted to show you guys a slide that Scott Henderson ended up putting out. He's actually on the marketing department for Galileo. And if you are holding on to a business, this is not just, short-term investing on Fed rates and everything. I'm talking about a significant execution credit that we're giving to management, that they are doing things better than their competitors, and hopefully they'll continue to do that over time. This is U.S. banks by 2025 asset size growth rates from 2024 to 2025. Now, there's a significant loser on this chart, And there's a significant winner on this chart. Now, it's quite small. I can try to bring it up as much as possible. But I'm sure you guys could guess which company is growing the fastest. It is SoFi. Next is State Street. Okay, so the next fastest growing bank on this chart is State Street, and it's roughly growing about 16%. SoFi is growing north of 30%, closer to 34% in terms of their asset size. That's more than double. Okay, the difference of those two between first and second is unbelievable. That is, during a harder period, by the way, and that goes across the entire board for all banks. It's much harder during rate hike cycles and, a worse macro than what we potentially are going to see in the later side of 2025 and into 2026. So I can't tell you, Kendall, to not sell your shares. Obviously, you'll make a fortune. But are you leaving something on the table? That's for you to determine. I know it's an absolute cop-out zero answer, but I really can't advise you. I'm keeping my shares. I believe that we're going to go higher. I think that we get to $40+ a share over the next 12 months. And it's not easy to find winners. So I don't constantly try to rotate my stocks to buy the next stock. I've done that before. And whenever I sell my winners to water my weeds in a certain way, I usually tend to lose. Premium stocks usually stay at a premium. CrowdStrike might just stay at a CrowdStrike valuation. Shopify is going to stay at a Shopify valuation. Palantir, Tesla, the Nvidia, the list goes on of the premium winners, unless something is changing fundamentally, usually continue to hold quite a premium. So I'm not one to even ask when to sell, because the truth is I don't know. I continue to buy. I'm a net buyer of stocks, as Warren Buffett likes to say. I am absolutely a net buyer of stocks. And that's worked out for me ever since I agreed that I'm not smarter than the market, but I can find winners, and I eventually let the market figure it out. And historically, I'm a very early buyer as well. Anyone that's looking at my trades, I have been historically an early buyer of positions. SoFi being one of them. But at the end, okay, eventually I'll get to rub it in, which I try not to do anyway. But as long as the team bulls are doing well, we don't really. It's funny, right? Whenever your stock is not going up, you have to justify to people why you've made those plays. Like whenever SoFi was still staying at 8, I'm like, but guys, it's fundamentally doing well. Now people tell me they're, shorting SoFi or whatever, and it's at 27. And I just, okay, you do you. I mean, I don't need to. I no longer need to pitch it. Dude, any opinion on SoundHound? Not really. I took a quick glance at the company a while ago. I'm not saying anything is wrong or anything along those lines, but nothing just stood out to me per se where I wanted to look much deeper. I could be completely wrong. I never got it pitched to me by some really great investor that knows what I like to look for. Talk about your fails, Tanner. It could be a good video. I think I talk about my fails pretty often. I mean, skills was probably the most, you can call it a public humiliation or whatever. I just, we were in a growth at all costs market. I believed in the digitalization and gamification of things at the time, and believed that gambling would happen less in Vegas and more at home. And I was focused more on monthly active users and internal KPIs rather than looking at what it cost them to acquire the customer and what happened whenever they stopped paying for those customers. I think it's why I also missed hymns, is because I worried that the same thing was true, that they were paying for users to come onto the platform, and the second that they would stop paying them, that people would stop signing up for those products. So it's made me miss some. That's the thing, right? Everyone talks about these lessons you learn, but sometimes the lessons don't apply to the next stock, and then you actually attribute something that's not the right lesson. Investing's a hard game. So yeah, I definitely have misses. I will miss again a lot. Have you convinced yourself to buy Duo yet? You mean Duolingo? Or do you actually mean Duo? Because I have not looked at Duo. But I have looked at Duolingo and I have looked at dLocal, and I ended up buying dLocal. Yeah. You never know whenever stocks are going to pop. But dLocal definitely did pop today. But I'm on the ship now for a much higher share price than a 3% gain, 4% gain. I'm missing on PayPal right now. Yeah, I see PayPal, and then I see Shift4, and I see dLocal, and I'm like, man, these are cheaper companies, faster growth rates. You know, and Anthony Noto, I trust. I agree. I think Anthony Noto is great, but some people get in their own bubble and they only look at their own stocks, and they don't realize that like there's a lot of other great CEOs. There are great CEOs at a lot of companies. So I love Anthony Noto, but I love Jensen, and I love Toby Lucky, and big fan of a lot of CEOs, particularly the ones that I invest in. Yeah, very confirmation bias for sure. Billionaires watch Tanner's dLocal video. See, the thing is, you don't need to be a billionaire to affect the stock price. It's only like a $4 billion company, so you just need like a guy with like $1 million, and the stock will move. Would I buy SoFi at these levels? I've thought about it. I thought about coming on the stream today and buying another, $1,000 a SoFi just for the fun of it. But I think that there is risk reward to things, and if my stock price that I believe in is, $40+ a share, 4 quarters out, that's what I think would be fair. I'm not saying that the market couldn't get excited and get to those prices or much higher very, very quickly, but it is a capital intensive business. There is opportunity for them to lose money based on their underwriting abilities. So I don't want to get overly optimistic. I never try to look at the extreme bull cases of the stocks that I own. Like, what's the base case here? What's the bear case? And then if we're looking honestly, what's the bull case? SoFi, the closer it gets to 30, the less opportunity there is from 30 to 40. And I'm not saying that there's not, 33% gain from 30 to 40. Like, that's great. But like, I just bought dLocal and I hope for 100+ gain. And I already have such a sizable position in SoFi that do I even need to buy more? Like, if it does go into ultra bullish territory and skyrockets, I won't feel like oh, you know what? I should have bought more shares. I mean, I'm just happy purchasing. Buying ETH, but not buying Bitcoin right now. Yeah, I mean, that sums up what I'm doing, I guess. Definitely buying BMNR and these types of names. I did buy D local today. Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay. Let's go and take a look at some more news. Um, okay. Let's see. Ba, 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 ba. Not too much that's being played out in the markets. I mean, Dave and Buster's earnings came out. Earnings per share missed by 57%. Revenue missed by 1%. EPS is down 64% year over year, and revenue is flat. Also, ladies and gentlemen, there is a possibility. I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but there's a possibility that we might be going to GTC, Nvidia GTC, in October 2025, next month. If I get to talk to Jensen Huang, I'm going to freak out. I've never talked, or like, I've never even wanted an interview with Jensen. But if that is opening up, unreal. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to have to wear a leather jacket. I think it improves the chances he talks to me. I think that's probably true. Okay. Both Affirm and Klarna ended up talking today saying that in-store purchases with Apple Pay on iPhone will now include those buy now, pay later options. So some people thought that this was an Affirm exclusive. It wasn't. It looks like they're rolling it out to multiple different companies at the same time. There wasn't an Apple press release that I could find, but I did find the Apple or the Affirm and Klarna ones independently. Who knows which other ones they've also enabled at that same time. Um, he's my friend's uncle. Jensen? Jensen Huang's your friend's uncle? Well, yeah, hopefully you own some shares. I'll 100% get Jensen to sign my chest. I think that's funny. You think he would do it? Okay. So there were a couple people bringing up PayPal and my thoughts on PayPal. However, there was some news on PayPal. PayPal ushers in a new era of peer-to-peer payments, reimagining how money moves to anyone, anywhere. Essentially being able to create and send links, as you can see in this image, to send someone a message to click through to accept money via a link. Now, what do you guys think about this? Would you use this? This is not the first company that I've seen do this. Coinbase has had this for some time. They also want to be able to enable it to send cryptocurrency. Crypto will soon be directly integrated into PayPal's new P2P payments flow in the app. And then people will be able to send Bitcoin, Ethereum, PYUSD, and more to PayPal, Venmo, and a rapidly growing number of digital wallets across the world that accepts crypto and stablecoins. Do you think this actually, like, this is another hard thing that I have with PayPal is what does that do to the bottom line? I think it's spam and delete. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. And then can anyone do this? Like, should this be the new way? Like, if we do like fun giveaways on chat that I just like post a PayPal link and then whoever clicks it first and receives the money gets it? Like, maybe that's interesting if that's how it even works. Or do I have to say who is selecting the money? PayPal sucks. People should just ignore them. It's hard ignoring companies whenever, like, you know that there's some substance there. But the market is ignoring it. And it's not just that the market is ignoring it. DLO is running in after hours. Let's take a look. Hey, I mean, I'll take it. 1440 right now. It's not that much volume though, to be honest. You just see it in the chart. It's not quite what it looks like during the day. But yeah, it was a pretty interesting day overall. Let's see what else is running in the after hours. Things look relatively flat. Pagaya up 0.4, applied up 0.5. Wow, maybe D-Local is like one of the fastest moving names in after hours right now. Stoneco down 1.5%. Opposite of its peers in LATAM. Rocket Lab. What's going on with Rocket Lab? Down 4.4% in after hours. Guys, what's going on? Files for $750 million offering. 3% dilution, and cash will jump to $1.4 billion, which will fund Neutron, pursue M&A, and sit far above its $110 million annual burn rate. Market doesn't like it, down set 4.7%. Wow. Okay, that's probably the biggest mover in after hours right now is Rocket Lab. Okay. The bulls are saying this is perfect timing. All-time high, take advantage. I think that's a fair comment. Right? Chipotle up 1.7%. Let's see what that was about. Added $500 million to its share buyback program. They want to buy back more shares. Okay. All right. Not too many pops. I mean, Shift 4 up 1%. I mean, it's nothing crazy. Okay. Disney partnership. Any of you guys looking at Fubo? Is that still a thing? Oscar's down 5%. Oh, wow, it is. Oscar. On a $350 million convertible note offering. Yeah, I mean, those are why the big movements are happening in after hours. Companies deciding to potentially take advantage of hot markets, use money that they can find from the markets, and accelerate growth rates, go after new M&A opportunities. I mean, it fell pretty quickly, but it's coming back. It was down like 7% at one point. Now it's down, or sorry, 6%. Now it's down less than 5%. Fubo just rallied off earnings. Fubo's been a good play the last year. I remember that whenever the Disney partnership happened, but then I didn't hear anything about it for a while. It's not a name I follow. But Jeremy has been pitching Fubo hard in the $1 range. Isn't it like nearly $5 now? Okay, cool. And yeah, like who pointed that out? Nubank's doing very well as well. Yeah, Gringo here. Nubank at 1591, and at one point almost surpassed $16 during the day. Absolutely incredible. This is another one, right? I get really bullish on fintech. I just think there's such a massive market, and it seems like the incumbents are just giving up on like existing consumer markets. Like they're not even trying. Wow, I didn't know. A lot of Fubo people here. Just voted for the Disney deal, hoping for a 50% rise. Got you. Thoughts on BBAI? I don't have any thoughts on BBAI. Um, I bought more SoFi at these prices and I don't care. I think that's fair. I mean, like, that's perfectly fine. If you're a long believer in this company and you have a long, like investment horizon or like a time horizon for those investments, it's hard not to believe in what you're seeing. Amazing execution, you know, great institutional demand for their credit, and a ton of shorts that are just absolutely getting stomped out. What is their did we get the NASDAQ update yet on short interest? I used to follow these things for the quick pop, but I don't follow them nearly as close anymore on what the numbers are. 101 million shares still traded short. That's insane. Now, it has gone down from last year's 186 million. There's essentially been more dilution, and that's gotten cut down by quite a lot, but still 100 million shares sold short. So, yeah. You guys keep saying Duo, but Duo and Duolingo are two different things. If you are talking about Duo, I mean, it's $11 million market cap. But yeah, the AI concerns on Duolingo will keep this thing pretty tied down for a long time. And I tried to talk to Chris about that, where I'm like, you know what? Even if it pops up, you can't get excited about these pop-ups because then another AI tool is going to come. This is going to happen for 5+ years. Even if they're fundamentally strong, they're going to have so much AI worry tied to the stock at every single time that OpenAI comes out with a new learning tool. There's a new piece of technology. Like, it's a hard one. A lot of shorts in BMNR right now. Yeah, I mean, that one's always going to attract shorts, but it depends on where Ethereum goes and the attachment there. And I think the Clarity Act is just going to add so much more to the Ethereum bull case, and pretty bullish on new regulation going through. I saw the video, and I agree with your arguments with Chris Roy and Tevez. Didn't seem like you were convinced. I'm more convinced the lower the stock price goes. I mean, I'm a fundamental investor and qualitative investor through and through. So Duolingo looks better after a 7% drop off. I'm not one of those people that sees red and thinks, oh, see, the market has proved that it's bad. I don't think that's true. I think there's a bunch of idiots that invest. But I personally don't care about the product, don't care to learn a new language. And it's just hard for me to wrap my head around certain aspects, but I could be a shareholder in the future, but it would be more of a trade. Tanner, what price did you get D-Local today? I'd need to check. I'm not sure. I'm checking right now. 14.16. 14.16. Sip your water. All right, Dookie. I mean, when Dookie says jump, I say how high. Such clean skin. I mean, this skin's not clean. I've got freaking. I don't really care about all that kind of stuff. The trade desk. Yeah, I mean, I jumped ship from that name. I think that they could do well, but I like or I don't mind whenever a company misses numbers once. Then, anything bad can happen. You readjust your guidance, you move on. Things went wrong. Things went wrong twice for the trade desk in 6 months. It's not a great look. I not only bought AppLovin, but then rotated the trade desk into AppLovin as well. I'm gonna keep that going. Tanner, are you dating / married? I am not married, but you might as well call it married. We've been together for over 7 years. So we own this house together, 50-50. So yeah. Not dating is a funny word. Like, oh, I'm exploring. I promise you, I'm not exploring. I just a procrastinator on getting a ring, I guess. Dookie with the $1. Thank you, Dookie. Keeping it big out here. How much would you need to get paid to have a mani-pedi with a mitt? Nothing. I would go for a mani-pedi with a mitt just to hang out with a friend. Just a couple of bros hanging out. Now, I don't know. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get the whole gel thing. I don't know. What's the point of it? Like, does it look better if your nails are shiny? I honestly don't get it. Anyway. Thoughts on Google? They're a giant, man, and still probably cheap compared to what the sum of all parts on the business are. Like, Google Cloud is going to continue to dominate. That's going to be one of the most important business lines of the entire stock market for the next, foreseeable future. I mean, 10 plus, 20 plus years. Data centers are going to be the next big thing. It still are the biggest thing. And then once you look at autonomous driving, drone delivery, search, artificial intelligence, their business lines through Google Workspace, the hardware products through Pixel and the Internet of Things, the stuff like Nest, all that stuff. Like, it's just such a sticky business. I mean, they're just not going anywhere. Yeah, YouTube, like, we're all using it right now. It's only getting bigger. It's gobbling up cable television. And most of those businesses, like, CNBC or all of these things, are just rotating onto online platforms. Like, they just realize that they need a presence on YouTube. Hey, Tanner, now it's getting fun with SoFi. I know. Now, above 25 there's a psychological breakout happening. Really is. And it's rate cut based, but still, it's very real. It's very, very real. You know what they say about men that wear caps tilted, right? I don't know if this is tilt. This is just my head, man. I'm just wearing it. I'm not trying to tilt it. It's just, I just don't want to wear it like this. I don't know. I just want to show off that I'm wearing an ETH hat, and then I try to pull it up a little bit, and then it just tilts. It's my dumb head. I've got like one of those, what's his name? What's the venture capitalist with the weird head? I'm sorry, dude. Hope to meet you one day. I'm a big Mark Andreessen. That's what his name is. Maybe I've got a Mark Andreessen head. I definitely don't. His is there to fit his freaking big head. $100 million still short SoFi. Good Lord. I mean, yeah, I didn't realize it's still that high. Like, we're at $27. Like, doesn't that kind of get you excited for the short term? Like, if rates do actually come in, yeah, it is kind of crooked. If it does actually come in, that could be very interesting. That could be very, very interesting. Is Canada's housing crashing? I literally couldn't tell you. I have no clue. It's funny, right? Like, everyone talks about all these mortgage crises and crazy events that happen in the economies, but if you're not looking to sell and you're just paying your mortgage, I don't feel it at all if that's even happening. I'm not looking around. I'm not looking at the price of my house. I'm just paying my bill. So I couldn't tell you. Dookie Pie is finally green, ladies and gentlemen. Good to have you back, Dookie. It's good to be back. Feels right. Okay. Let's, there was a comment I wanted to see. There was someone that said, yeah, I'm 19 and 55% of my portfolio is SoFi. I've reached over 100% gains now. What a day to be a SoFi investor. Congratulations. It's an unbelievable early start to your journey. You've got a long way to go. The only piece of advice at your age, Dookie Pie with the 20 gifted. Congratulations to the 20 people that just also had their name turned green by the great and powerful Dookie Pie. She's a legend of the channel and sharing some love for the SoFi community that has just hit another brand new high today. Jeez. That's incredible. If you guys got a thing, but let's go back. I want to make sure that I give this piece of advice because I also started very young and I wish I had this piece of advice as well. You made a killing. Continue to find the companies that are fundamentally great, qualitatively great, that are growing in market share, and don't assume that you're going to get 100% gains. Sometimes people always continuously try to search for those names that have that continuously double their portfolio, and what they end up getting is continuously increased risk. And whenever things turn poor, they find themselves holding a position that's down 80, 90, 95%. It happened in 2022. Tech growth got obliterated. But if you're holding a fundamentally great name, even if you were holding on to SoFi, Robinhood, C Limited. You know, the names are easy to point out which ones survive now. But back in the day, whenever people were growth at all cost, it's just incredible. Dookie Pie just confessed that they're actually a MIT, even though I've seen them in a MIT's channel. I'm pretty sure. But thank you, Dookie. Appreciate all the donations that you've given to this channel. It's incredibly nice of you. I'm up 500% on some of my shares on SoFi. That's a 6x, ladies and gentlemen. A 6x on opportunity cost. What do you get with membership? We do I mean, really not too much. It's just to support the channel, but there is a weekly show that we have a pass. I mean, it's definitely not worth $5 a month. I mean, like Fiscal AI, for example, which I work with, is much worth its money versus $5 a month. I mean, treat it like a donation, not a purchase. But we do try to do a weekly show to give back to the supporters. But thank you. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, it's not a sale. It's like I'm not actively trying to push for memberships or anything like this. Depends on what the value knowledge for. Sometimes there's gems in the after hours. Well, thank you, Curtis. I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, the after hours of shows could be a lot of fun, but it's only like 4 episodes per month. Yeah. I'm not invested in Nebius. No. I'm invested in more of the bigger names, not trying to pick the winners there. And that sort of hedges me against the downside. Is like, I didn't want to pick some of the smaller names. I could just pick the big names and guarantee a smaller upside, but you know, it's an upside nonetheless. It's about the heart, not the looks. That's why I like Tanner. Yeah. Okay. Why do I even need a face cam? We could just do it like this. And it's still my face. It's crazy. But I hear this all the time, you know, the people that make fun of you love you the most or whatever. Maybe that's not true online, but yeah. Maybe that's not true at all. It was backhanded, but it was a joke. At least I'm taking it as a joke. It's all good, J-Man. Don't need people to come to my offense. She just gifted you guys 20 subs. Obviously, we got some fans. You look like 10 years younger there. Yeah. It probably is 6 or 7 years ago. But just do the show shirtless. Dookie Pie offered me 10 grand to take my shirt off. She's a crazy person. Only Tanners? That's funny. Yeah, and I didn't even do it. Okay. Curtis, SMCX. SMCX. Curtis, I can't buy that. I can buy SMCI. I can't buy SMCX because it's a leveraged ETF, which is not allowed. If you want me to get oh, sorry, if no leverage. Yeah, I'll do SMCI. Yeah. Thank you, Curtis. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let's take a look at the community fund. I mean, the stocks have been freaking running lately. SoFi's been skyrocketing. Let's take a look. So, not including SMCI that was just added. These are not picks from me. This is picks from the community. But right now, the day was kind of extremely flat. SoFi did very well. SBET kind of, balanced that. BM&R didn't do well either. It just wasn't an ETH day. But those ETH days will come. I'm very, very positive on the ETH names. And I remember whenever we first started this, SoFi was not a big part of this. And through continuous execution and your guys' support, SoFi has taken the number one spot on the list. So we are comfortably going to make back the losses. But you know what I realize is that just like donations will come through for people's speculative bets that they want to show off that, like, oh, you know what? UNH is going to do extremely well, or Oscar, Neo, or like, so it's all people's most speculative picks come through here. Not everyone. Some people, want just like, more SoFi or something like this, but it does lead to a more speculative portfolio, which is crazy. But I love tracking it, honestly. It's been a freaking amazing decision to see what retail actually sees and then chart that out and show that performance. How likely SoFi doubles from here in the next year? Not easily. And I'm just going to be honest. It's hard for companies to double. Okay. Is SoFi going to double their business fundamentally from here? Are they going to make double the revenue or double the earnings? The answer is probably no, which means that you need multiple expansion. How do you get multiple expansion? You prove to the market that your growth is going to accelerate faster, that the growth is going to be for a longer period of time, or you prove that their revenue or earnings are more sustainable. There's a couple ways for SoFi to do that. One, we accelerate growth rates going from essentially 25% to closer to 35%. I think that could happen. That might be easier. Their ability to make more money through less risky activities, meaning less lending on their own balance sheet and doing more loan platform business, more SoFi Invest, more SoFi Money, more fee-based. That could lead to less risky revenue and a multiple increase. That I could see. But I still think that they're going to lend on their own balance sheet. I think that the book value will grow regardless. And I don't think that we're going to see something like 65% growth year over year, something like this. I think those days are over, which is perfectly fine. But a double is hard. A double is hard. Not saying it couldn't happen. I mean, we could get rate cuts. Yeah. Tanner has hiccups drinking whiskey. Drinking Red Bull. I have, let's say, hiccups. Okay. Your thoughts on Adobe, PayPal, Lulu, also Nubank been increasing. Adobe, I don't know. PayPal, sad. Lulu, I don't have real opinions on any of these. I don't have opinions on any of them. I want to continue investing in payment names, but I want to decide on them based on actual growth. I hope PayPal does grow, but 5% or 8% isn't it. It needs to grow by, double digits. Like, can PayPal return to 15% growth? Yes, but when's that going to happen? When are they going to guide for that? So that's my only concern. S&P 500 for SoFi will be a big pop. Paul, I think that's a good. Yeah, I'm not anti that idea, but still, 100% away from here is high. 12 months from now, being at $54 a share, $55 a share, it's a lot. Now, I'm not saying like it's not going to go up. I do think it's going to heavily go up, but that's not my base case. I'm not assuming it goes to 55. I think the people that hope for the most bullish outcomes is not good for the market. Like, let Anthony Noto prove to you that it's worth 55 or 65, 75, 85, on and on and on. But whenever you put out those price targets, you say, this is what's going to happen. And I know this based on hope, not based on the numbers that we're seeing, because that's not the numbers we're seeing. So you're hoping that they're going to change, but you don't have insider information. You don't have so I don't know. It's hard. I'm not going to make crazy predictions on SoFi stock. And yet I still feel like I have based on a $40 price target, but I truly believe that's what's going to happen. Gringo says, buy some NVNI. NVNI. Let's see here. So I can't. For the community portfolio, it'll go high on earnings September 30th. B2B SaaS business in Brazil. It's my only stock at the moment. Wow. That's some conviction. Gringo, is there anything else you want me to invest in? Because one of the rules of the community fund is that, and you can read it in the description. Make sure you guys check out the rules of the game. The company has to have above $1 billion market cap. This company's got a $56 million market cap. It's crazy that you're going all in on a $56 million company. Good for you. I mean, if that pops off, that's freaking amazing. But it does look down 93%. What do you think the turnaround is here? It's quite the chart. What's the play here? I'm already up 125%. Wow. That's kind of crazy. Okay, I'll wait for the message. Sorry, buddy. I apologize. But we've turned away many companies that are under $1 billion. No levered ETFs, no inverse ETFs, stuff like this. He knows something we don't. Either way, I'm not going to play it. Amit was talking today, wondering if SoFi would have a breakout like Hood or Palantir. That's the reason for the question. My average is 11 now, planning on selling or not planning on selling anytime soon. Maybe covered calls. Well, I am doing covered calls on SoFi, Nvidia, Hood. But Chris Hager saying, you'll all be sorry you missed Duolingo. Sorry, I'm behind on the stream. I think he could be right, but sentiment can continue to make that company have 7-8% pull down days because a new product is announced. That I don't think that's going to stop for 5 years. If it does get stupidly low, I could see myself taking a share. But, and this goes for me, Chris, Amit, whoever you follow, just because Chris is into this name does not change my opinion on it. I mean, I need my own conviction. I cannot have borrowed conviction, because then if something goes wrong, if there's some sort of report that comes out, you are dying to hear from this person going, hey, I need to know what you think about this move so then I know if I can trade or not. And during those times between what you hear from the person that got you into that trade to whenever you actually do hear from them, a lot can happen in a stock. Like, look at the news that came in from Nebius and Microsoft. You go, hey, is this big news or not? And between, you watching the news come in, it was up like 5% whenever I originally read it to like 50 plus or 40 plus percent at another time, because the stock had continued to run and find new investors that are reading through the reports. So please don't borrow conviction. Get it for yourself. Do your own due diligence. Yeah. It's also why I partnered with Fiscal AI. It's like, it's not just, I'll just wait for Tanner to do the due diligence and I'll see the charts on his screen. It's like, no, you need to do that for yourself. We got to do our own work. Will it go to 300, do you think, like Chase? I think you're talking about SoFi because you brought up Chase, but I would not bring up stock prices versus market caps. Yeah. What if your DD is YouTube video and ChatGPT? I'd be very worried about ChatGPT's DD. I do. There's certain things like going through summaries or something like this, like reading text, but I don't give it a lot of numbers and try to assess, that sort of stuff. I also see people send me stuff where it's like, oh, is this new product? Like SoFi will post a new product and then people will send me like what ChatGPT thinks of this new product and go, here, this is what ChatGPT thinks. Guys, please stop sending me those. I give zero weighting to what ChatGPT thinks about student loan refinancing products. Okay? Because you don't know what they're pulling from for that sentiment. They'd be going to Reddit and going to the consumers being like, hey, how do you like these things? Oh, well, SoFi charged me more than this company, so it sucks. Okay, but the unit economics for SoFi is great. So it's hard to aggregate data and then bet your whole, bet the farm on what ChatGPT thinks. You like the hat and tee combo? It's a little baseball shirt, right? ChatGPT says AMC is a good stock. I actually don't know a league of their own. Tom Hanks. Yeah, it is a baseball tee, so I get it. That's fine. I'll take it. It's America's favorite pastime. It's a women's baseball movie. Well, I'm Tom Hanks in the movie. That's what she meant, right? That's what you meant, Doogie, right? Please? What did you mean? I don't know if I could take some more harsh criticism, Doogie. Doogie, remember whenever you used to come in the chat and you'd be like, hey, look at AMD. Like, that's a... Now she's like, your skin looks bad and you got to trim your nose hair, and that... I don't like that shirt. What happened to like the AMD calls and SoFi predictions and Hood? Do you regret selling Tesla? No. Nvidia's outperformed. I'm like, I've made more money selling it than otherwise. So, and then because I don't have conviction on the name right now, if I didn't sell it then I would have sold it now. And so, yeah, I don't know. Like I'm not like, guys, if you're in Tesla, make your money. Like, congratulations. It's super amazing. I just don't like the multiple. And that's it. Field of SoFi Dreams. That's funny. Another movie I haven't seen. I'm so sorry, guys. I got to get caught up on my movies. SoFi's app is really surprised on how well it's doing. Well, they're actually attracting more users than like most financial apps that people could possibly name. So I think people have a hard time. Same with Duolingo. If you're not the target audience, people feel like that's like there is no target audience. But there is. It's just maybe not like you. It's like Acorns or something. Like, oh, like who the heck would possibly use these managed, ETFs where you're rounding up a couple dollars, but like there's an audience for it. Appreciate you, Dookie. Thank you. I know you're teasing. I'm just having fun as well. I just like to have fun with a straight face. Couldn't keep a straight face there, though. Sorry. SoFi's app is amazing AF. I hear a lot of people say that it's good. If I were to venture a bet, I think that I would be more of a hood user based on the amount of, like on the active invest side that I need my app to be on. But I'm sure I'd have no problems with SoFi. Like the app that I currently use right now, which is Wealth Simple for most things, I would say is probably much closer to SoFi than Robinhood. Because I'm in Canada, for those that don't know. I'm not sure why Duolingo dropped today. I'm sure it was some sort of Chat GPT announcement or something along these lines. Let's just go check ChatGPT's newsroom. I bet we could find something. It's either that or Google. Like, there's always something. Well, this is not the newsroom that I expected. This is like some custom GPT. Okay. Upgrades to Codex from ChatGPT. How people are using ChatGPT was a report that they ended up releasing today. Maybe it says for learning languages. Early gender gaps have narrowed dramatically, with adoption resembling the general adult population. In January 2024, among users with names that could be classified as either masculine or feminine, 37% had typical feminine names. By July of 2025, that share had risen to more than half, 52%. That's interesting. If you're not asking people their names exactly, you go off by generally classified masculine versus feminine names. Okay. SoFi's website, when you log in, looks really outdated. I don't think they care about the website as much, for sure. The app, I think, would be a little bit different. And I think that they are trying to make it more of a banking look than the more modern tech focused like Robinhood look. I think they're doing well because they're making it an easier transition for people. Yeah, I don't know. It's one that I very much focus on the financials. I think sometimes whenever people just look at those types of things of like, oh, this is how many new products that they're putting out in the scope of products that I'm looking for, you would have missed out on a huge opportunity. I did open a position in D-Local, yes. Tanner Gringo said Upwork. Okay, cool. Thank you. Upwork. I'm perfectly fine with that one. How do you guys think that market does? I mean, back in the day, like Fiverr and Upwork were like all the rage. And I still use Fiverr for certain things. But now I do worry that like AI will close a lot of those use cases. If I call Steve and ask him about D-Local, he's going to say I have no idea what that is. I don't ask him about small names like that. He's paid zero attention to them. 0, 0, 0. The D-Local pump didn't remotely come from me, guys. It's not even remotely from me. What do you mean they don't care about their website? SoFi is an app-focused business. Same thing with Robinhood, by the way. Like only recently did Legend become a thing. For the first, 10 years, it was app-focused. SoFi's management team is heavily focused on their application side than their website side. I don't think that that's a controversial thing to state. That's where 99% of their users are. Okay. SoFi's app feels like a regional bank's app. It's not even remotely true. That's not even remotely true. What people want is that if they sign up for an app, that the application is only a few pages, that they get paid same day or, in 2 days or something like this. If you go to a regional banking app, it takes forever to sign up for an account. Maybe they even need you to come in person to meet them. Like it, you can state stuff like that because of the color scheme, stuff like this, but it's not even close to true. Is it possible for us to check in for ourselves the community portfolio? Absolutely. Go to the in the description, and I think it's just futureinvesting.pro/portfolio, and you can view it live in real time. Obviously, Gringo, Upwork won't be in there right now, or maybe not from your edition. But once I'm off this, then I buy it. If it's a fractional share, then I just, buy as much as the donation actually is. And then I enter it into Notion. But it's tracked by Savvy Trader, so that's all done automatically. Did Tevis get DLO? He didn't send me a message if that's true. Guys, this is crazy. And you know what? It's true because I remember the numbers. Nvidia is worth more than Canada. Oh my gosh. And I think Nvidia is like 4 trillion. I think or 4.3 trillion. I think the total GDP of Canada is somewhere just over 4 trillion. Do you think design matters? Yes. but I don't think it's the heavily weighted, most important thing that matters. You know, user engagement matters. But if those users think that they like that design, then that's personal preference. You know, if you're a male clothing store, or like, I don't know, you make male shoes, and then you go to a different designer for a completely different fashion, female clothing is totally different. You go, I don't like that. Well, it doesn't mean that their users don't like that. They could be a very fast growing company. And I think people also separate how fast Robinhood is leaning more towards a male active trader audience, and SoFi is leaning more towards a female managed managed access. So cares more about debt, personal finance, stuff like this, where Robinhood is benefiting from a lot of degens, high risk takers, stuff like this. Both make a lot of money. Nvidia can buy Canada. I don't think it works like that, but yeah. Don't you think they could look a little better? Yeah, but they're actively working on that. Not like the thousands of people that are working there just sit around going, "Yep, everything's perfect." Like, they actively are changing things. I believe that management will do the right things to continue to execute at the level that they've been executing. And you see that in the website traffic, you see that in the Google trends, you see that in the financials. Those are the things that I care about. Like, I don't know. There are car brands that I don't like that still do well. And I'm not highlighting Tesla, by the way. That was not a shot at Tesla. I think the next car that I buy will be a Model Y, a refreshed Model Y. What's the forward PE on Canada? Low, way lower than Nvidia. Yeah, it'd be like less than 1 time, something like that. Um, okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me. I most likely will be, or maybe I won't be back. Maybe I might be recording a video. Maybe it won't be a live stream. But expect more content later, or tomorrow morning. I don't. We play these things out. I'm not that structured of a guy, I guess. But thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate your time. And if you like these sort of streams, subscribe. Bye for now.